racist. Welcome to the Viral Report. I'm Lamar. Alright, so you know the pure arrogance and ignorance of Americans, young and old, who aren't taking COVID-19 seriously and won't sit their tails down just boggles the mind. They know that this thing is putting people in the grave. And they just don't care. They're just living life as usual.
I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not going to let it stop me from partying. You know, I've been waiting. We've been waiting for Miami spring break for a while. About 2 months we've had this trip planned. 2-3 months. So we're just out here having a good time. Whatever happens, happens.
It's bad. We need a refund. This virus ain't that serious. It's serious. It's more serious things out there like hunger and poverty, and we need to address that.
Yeah, I mean, we planned this a long time ago and it was kind of up in the air if we still go, but like we're here. I just turned 21 this year, so I'm here to party, so it's kind of disappointing, but we're just making the most of it. We met these other people in our little Airbnb spot, so we're just hanging out with them and trying to get drunk before everything closes.
I mean, it sucks, but we're gonna make the best of it. We're enjoying ourselves. It sucks, and I'm from New Orleans, so this really sucks. However, we're gonna enjoy ourselves. We having day parties all day. It's my birthday, St. Patrick's Day. Turn up.
In this video, we're going to call the situation C19 in hopes that the algorithm doesn't suppress this video. So while thousands of Americans are out here lying in hospital beds, fighting for their lives, trying to find testing centers, or wondering how they're going to pay their rent, mortgage, or provide food on the table for their kids in the coming weeks due to layoffs, you have pastors out here ignoring social distancing guidelines of not congregating in large groups and staying 6 feet apart. Well, because you have a bunch of greedy, money-hungry pastors who are urging their church members to come on down and worship, to line the church and pastors' pockets with your hard-earned money that many people can't truly say that they will recoup in the coming weeks and months. It's predicted that up to 200,000 Americans could pass away from C19, even if health officials do everything right. And you have these pastors, in a sense, taking their congregation, who are mostly made up of elderly people, on a Jim Jones mission to meet their maker. There's this megachurch pastor, Rodney Brown, in Tampa Bay, Florida, who was recently arrested for endangering his church members after busing them into church on multiple Sundays during a national pandemic. It's like common sense is an imaginary concept here in America. Y'all take a look at this video.
Sunday, shots of a packed church went viral.
You may be seated. Amen.
By Monday, Pastor Rodney Howard Brown of the River at Tampa Bay Church had a warrant out for his arrest.
His reckless disregard for human life put hundreds of people in his congregation at risk, and thousands of residents who may interact with them this week in danger.
Hillsborough Sheriff Chad Chronister said Brown encouraged members to show up in person amid the coronavirus pandemic, even providing bus transportation. Brown turned himself in on charges of unlawful assembly and violating public health emergency rules of isolation and quarantine.
This church has a concern not only for the physical well-being of its participants in the community, but also the spiritual well-being.
Liberty Counsel, now representing the pastor, maintains the church had hand sanitizer available, 6-foot separations on the floor for family groups, and staff wearing gloves.
They bought $100,000 worth of hospital-grade equipment that they have established throughout the church that kills microbes, including those in the family of the coronavirus.
Attorney Matthew Staber calls the arrest discriminatory and unconstitutional.
You cannot look at this situation and say that it's being evenly enforced across the board.
Texas-based First Liberty Institute, which defends religious freedom, sees gathering restrictions in a different light.
This is a hard adjustment for people to make, but I think we have to make that adjustment. The state has to have a compelling justification, a compelling reason to say we're going to ask people of a certain size of gathering to stop meeting for a period of time temporarily.
They're encouraging religious leaders to continue serving, just online, in small groups or drive-through type events.
I don't give a flying pig's tail if this church has state-of-the-art technology throughout the church and staff members were wearing gloves. Hell, ushers at small churches wear white gloves regularly, but does that mean I'm just gonna be running down to attend Sunday services? No! And these pastors are predatory at best. Preying on the weak-minded using the Lord's name is disgusting. And if that wasn't crazy enough, you had a loony pastor, Pastor Ronnie Hampton out of Shreveport, Louisiana, who basically told his parishioners that he wasn't concerned about C19, God was in control, and all this excitement was just the government trying to experiment and inject Americans with vaccines, and these vaccines would be computer chips that could control your mind and make you dry hump your Bibles. Okay, well, he didn't add that last part, but he might as well had. The pastor conspiracy theorist, came down with an illness and was admitted to the hospital on Tuesday, March 24th, and dead on Wednesday, March 25th. This thing is serious, folks, and for those who aren't taking heed, we become a casualty. And I want you all to take a look at this brief news clip, and then I want you to listen to Pastor Ronnie Hampton, aka Mr. Pastor Conspiracy Theorist, okay, before and after C-19 and him lying in a hospital bed speaking to his church parishioners. Y'all take a look at this.
I felt a need to address this issue that seems to have a major population in this country paranoid, fearful, uncertain about this corona thing. I have my own interpretations about it. If I were to tell you some of my thoughts about it, you'd think that, it's coming from the stratosphere somewhere, and it'll probably sound like that, but, that's kind of the way it is. But this virus that's out now, look at what it's doing. It's shutting down everything, which means that the physical connection of Christians is being ripped apart. We're not able to fellowship. We're not able to love each other. We're not able to greet each other with a handshake or a hug. We're not able to be in close proximity of each other. We're not able to break bread and sit down and eat together because Caesar is mandating how we conduct ourselves using the pretext of this virus to be able to conduct our lives and run our lives for us. Now, here's a theory. It was brought to my attention that, okay, this virus thing, that people die from the flu more than they've died from this virus. In my opinion, death is death. I don't care what it's by, But I listen, and they say, well, it's something that's come up, and now everything is being shut down, borders are being closed, and they're going to come up with a vaccine because they're keeping everybody away from each other just so they can install martial law, and they're going to come up with a vaccine, and in that vaccine, everybody's going to have to take it no matter what, and inside of that vaccine is going to be some type of electronic computer device that's going to put some kind of chip in you that's going to be able to conduct your activities, and maybe even have some mood or mind altering circumstances with it, with this little chip thing, and they're saying that the chip would be the mark of the beast. And another theory is that we're living in the last days. Well, my theory is we've been living in the last days ever since Jesus died on the cross and was ascended into heaven. So what I'm saying is basically keep your spiritual eyes in order. Be truthful in your relationship with Jesus. Jesus is not meant for us to be in bondage. He is meant for us to be free. Jesus, think about your spiritual journey that you've had to endure and that you've gone through thus far to get to where you are right now. And now you're going to let some kind of coronavirus take you out? God don't make no cowards. And don't be a coward. Don't give in to that spirit of fear.
Good morning to those people that view us on Facebook Live coming from New Vision Community Church. As you can see, I'm in a hospital bed this morning, and I'm being treated. I'm in isolation, and I'm being treated as a precaution to the coronavirus. And I just couldn't let it get me down. I presented to the emergency room Friday afternoon because I had some abdominal pain, and I had a chronic cough that was causing me abdominal pain that made me feel like my abdominal wall was being compromised. So I was like pushing a hernia back in. So I came here for that, and they gave me x-rays and found out that I had pneumonia in both my lungs. As a result of that, they put me on lockdown, and so now I'm in isolation, and they took some swabs, and they're going to send them off to the lab and see if they come back either positive or negative for the corona. I'm just going to wait and let this thing run its course. It'll be best for me and my family and everybody else involved. I'm not fearful. I'm encouraged. I still feel blessed, and I'm optimistic about the outcome of all of this. The paranoia that's based around all of this is so profound that when people hear coronavirus, they don't thinking you're testing or anything else. They just figure you got it, and they'll just take it and run with it. But I'm not. I haven't tested positive for the coronavirus. And the thing is, if I do test positive, then we'll know what we got to do to take care of it. And so I'm not trying to worry about this. I'm just gonna continue to be prayerful, be faithful. This may be his way of sitting me down so I can get a little rest. There's a million things going on in my mind, but you all be blessed. The Lord bless you and keep you is my prayer.
Look, all right, I know it may be hard, but I'm gonna need people to stay in the house. Don't let these churches or its pastors pimp you into feeling guilty for not coming to church. There have been a number of pastors who have died because God gave them a sign not to have Sunday service. They disobeyed and they're no longer here. The Florida pastor, Pastor Rodney Brown, he was arrested because he was steering his members into a literal death trap, that being the church environment. All he had to do was stream his Sunday services like other churches around America, but he was under some crazy spiritual delusion and not living in reality. And now he's in jail, so I'm sure the church will bail him out soon. Remember, folks, God gave you common sense, and when you don't use it, there's consequences, okay? In closing, will this C-19 madness be over in a month or two? No. There's still millions of people who haven't been tested, and thousands of Americans are still being laid off from their jobs every day. Even my employment is surrounded in question marks. And I told my colleagues months ago, this was a serious and unique situation. I told them, when was the last time you've known communication to come from the top down that if you were sick, leave immediately, don't return to work, and a doctor's note is not needed? Go ahead, I'll wait. Because usually companies want to work you into the ground whether you're sick or not. And you know what? I'm just about done with these churches. Either they're saying something worthy, touching on you in an inappropriate manner, or using the Chick-fil-A method to bring out your bipolar side.
Believe that the Lord tonight has set you free. Yes, sir. Turn around and tell those people. Tell them. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women.
So let me know what you all think. Do you think the pastors were wrong or right for urging their parishioners to still attend Sunday's death camps, aka Sunday services, during a national pandemic? Or are you still going to church and congregating in large crowds because you don't give a fuck and no illness is going to stop you from living your best life? And finally, let me know what you all think of Trump recently attacking an African-American reporter, Yamiche Alcindor, while she was asking him a question at a recent press conference. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Peace.
I have two questions. The first is, you've said repeatedly that you think that some of the equipment that governors are requesting, they don't actually need. You said New York might not need 30,000. You said it on Sean Hannity's Fox News. You said that
why don't you people act? Let me ask you.
You said
why don't you act in a little more positive? It's always trying to
get you. My question to you is,
get you. And you know what? That's why nobody trusts the media anymore.
My question to you is, how is that going to impact?
Excuse me, you didn't hear me. That's why you used to work for the Times and now you work for somebody else. Look, let me tell you something. Be nice. Don't
Mr.
be
President,
threatening.
my question
Don't
is...
be threatening.
We don't just preach.
Are you about to kill this man?
Pop these niggas like...
Who the
playing. I didn't do it.
about to get this party started. If you made it this far in the video, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe, like, and that notification bell. It ain't a party until you subscribe. I love you for watching, and I'll see that beautiful face in the next one.